accountability. First Nations leaders demand transparency over the FSIN's finances. On the picket lines, will Canadians once again be caught in the middle during the Canada Post dispute? And stepping into the ring to honor residential school survivors.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. First Nations communities across Saskatchewan are calling for transparency and accountability from the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. Despite repeated calls, the FSIN has been silent after a forensic audit questioned more than $30 million of spending. As Keenan Sorokon reports, they say it's time for the FSIN to speak up.
A number of First Nations leaders in Saskatoon Friday say the FSIN is leaving its people in the dark.
This is $34 million that's unaccounted for. Why? We need the executive to stand up and tell the truth.
An audit from Indigenous Services Canada wasn't able to fully track more than $34 million of expenses, with the majority of it meant as COVID funding for the FSIN's 74 member nations. It's recommending a series of changes to include more reporting, invoicing, and documentation of spending. Arcand, who is on the FSIN's Treasury Board, says he can't access certain information. The budgets or other documents shared at some meetings are vague or incomplete. At a meeting earlier this month where initial audit findings were presented, Arcand says the FSIN executive didn't say one word. He's nervous that 18 months after the audit period ended, the FSIN still wasn't able to explain its spending.
There was no actual receipts, no documentation. That is a problem. But everybody else had to comply. The FSIN is not above the rules.
Chiefs say this audit only shows 5 years of spending. What else has gone on before and what could continue to happen without wide sweeping changes?
We need accountability, transparency, and return to the principles of integrity, the way our ancestors envisioned.
Speaker after speaker saying the FSIN executive is no longer listening to its chiefs or its people. Indigenous Services Canada says we will continue to monitor the matter in the context of those recommendations and will consult any appropriate authorities as required. Chiefs here are hoping FSIN's spending can be explained and that it doesn't owe money back. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Canada Post employees across Saskatchewan are walking the picket line once again, part of a nationwide strike over plans to end door-to-door mail delivery and close some rural post offices. The workers say they're fighting for their jobs. Wayne Mantika reports.
It's the second time in less than a year that Canada Post employees are walking the picket line. They left their jobs on Thursday, just hours after cost-saving measures were announced at the Crown Corporation.
Yeah, unfortunately, that announcement really said, hey, we're going to be slashing jobs, and unfortunately for us, that's not an option for CUPW.
Workers walked off the job Thursday after Canada Post announced plans to phase out door-to-door mail delivery to those who still have it, and the closure of some rural post offices. Workers in Saskatoon say the announcement took them by surprise.
Our union leadership met with the minister not very long ago, and he gave no indication that he was going to be recommending following all of the Kaplan Commission recommendations.
John Peters is a Saskatoon senior who says walking to a community mailbox to pick up his mail would pose a hardship.
I probably wouldn't go out when it's snowing and stuff, or raining.
Companies that rely on Canada Post for shipment of out-of-town orders are again turning to couriers.
We were exclusively Canada Post last year. We never used UPS or Purelator until the strike, ever. Never even looked at them or touched them. And the moment the strike happened and we were forced into those positions, I don't know, it's tough. I love Canada Post.
Canada Post will not accept or deliver mail and parcels during the strike. The union has agreed to deliver Canada pension and child benefit checks. Social services payments can be picked up in person and utility bills paid through banks. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
One person is dead, shot by police in Regina last night. Mick Fable now on the investigation. The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team is now looking into.
One person is dead after a shooting involving multiple Regina Police Service members Thursday night. Not much is confirmed yet, but here's what we know.
At approximately 11 p.m., RPS officers were conducting an investigation at 3630 East Houghton Road. According to police, officers fired their guns, fatally wounding an individual. The area is home to a number of apartment buildings just off of Prince of Wales Drive. At the time of publication, there is no information about the individual or the exact cause of the incident. Neighbors living in and around the building say the area is quiet after dark and that this type of situation is rare. RPS says this incident carries significant public interest and to remain patient while the facts are being gathered.
Because RPS are involved with this situation, the Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team has been called to investigate. Anyone with any information is encouraged to contact CERT. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
A fifth person has now been charged in connection with a shooting that injured an 11-year-old girl in Regina last month. It happened just after 2 a.m. on August 11th. The girl was inside her home when she was shot. A 29-year-old woman has been charged with accessory and conspiracy to commit murder. The four others, all men between the ages of 18 and 41, face charges of attempted murder and weapons offenses. A man wanted for historical sexual offenses in Saskatoon has been extradited from the UK. 69-year-old Earl Warren was arrested by Saskatoon RCMP in October of 2020 and charged with 3 counts of sexual assault as well as 4 counts of invitation to sexual touching of a minor. The alleged incidents were reported to have happened between 2010 and 2017 in Saskatchewan. An international alert was issued after Warren did not appear in court in Saskatoon in May of 2023. Police had then determined he left the country and was living in London, England. With the help of Interpol and police in London, Earl Warren was brought back to Canada last week. He is scheduled to be in court to face the charges next month. Well, Jeff, to say today has been windy would be an understatement.
It's true enough. It's been very windy. We started this morning. We had, just as advertised, it was very windy and stayed that way. You can't necessarily hear it at home, but trust us, we can hear it in the studio. The wind's howling up the alley behind CTV. We've got ourselves a fairly quiet situation in terms of precipitation. We had a little bit of rain showers, and they just sort of moved out of here, and they're going to move into parts of northern Manitoba and Ontario. And a relatively quiet situation with regard to precipitation. And it looks like the winds are going to back off too, so temperatures are also going to be on the high side. All those details coming your way later on.
Residential school survivors and those who never made it home were honored today in Saskatoon. Live music, including this fiddle player, was part of Orange Shirt Day activities in Saskatoon. Attendees also taking in singers and dancers and arts and crafts. The day also featured a survivors circle where people were able to share their stories and experiences. One of the storytellers recognized one of today's younger participants for reclaiming what was lost and continuing to uphold his culture.
I am reclaiming my culture. I go to ceremonies often. It's a beautiful thing. I learn my language with every song I learn. You know, I reclaim my ancestors every day I walk this life, and it means a lot to my heart.
Orange Shirt Day is also being recognized at many Saskatchewan schools on Tuesday, which marks National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Indigenous athletes from across the prairies are stepping into the ring in Saskatoon this weekend. As Stacey Hine tells us, it's part of a boxing event that honors residential school survivors.
Preparing for an important match, one that means far more than winning. Saturday night's big fight, dubbed This Bout is for Truth, is meant to honor residential school survivors ahead of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Kyle Paposy is stepping into the ring to pay tribute to family impacted by the residential school system.
Makes me pretty proud because I get to represent my family.
After 7 years in the sport, Paposy says boxing has taught him both discipline and healing.
Just always trying your hardest, always believe in yourself, believe in what kind of achievements you can make no matter what's happened to you. Just keep training.
Paposy is one of several Indigenous boxers from across the prairies competing this weekend.
10 times faster.
Coach and event organizer Gary Kopis says the night also celebrates Indigenous culture with dancing and drumming.
A lot of celebration of the culture and boxing and bringing it all together to feature these athletes.
He says having elders in the crowd makes the night even more special.
It's really powerful to see them, smiling and have the opportunity for the future generations to be able to excel at life and just be part of everything that, these residential school survivors didn't get to be a part of.
Meanwhile, this boxer says he's ready to show off his skills and make his family proud.
Just showcasing my skills, everything I worked for, just working hard, just doing everything to get the best outcome.
The event kicks off Saturday night at 5 p.m. at Prairieland Park. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A highway that runs through a Saskatchewan First Nation now bears the same name as the chief the nation is named after. Regina has the details on the significance of today's announcement for the Southern Saskatchewan First Nation.
A historic day for Kakavishtaha First Nation.
But I just want to make sure that everyone understands that this is a beautiful small win today.
The win, a sign, marking the new name of Highway 201. The road is now called Chief Kakavishtaha Way.
It's been a long time coming, a couple of years back, but we worked together with the representatives from the Sask Highways as well as our First Nation to officially launch this today, and it's a good day for Chief Kakavishtaha.
Chief Kakavishtaha signed Treaty 4 in 1874 and is remembered as someone who brought peace in a time of war.
He left us a legacy to keep fulfilling, and here we are, 118 years later, ensuring that he was not forgotten and that his legacy is still remembered. So Chief Kakavishtaha was a good chief and a good man.
The idea of renaming Highway 201 came from Chief Audit a few years ago, and he found a partner in the provincial government.
There was a committee put together involving local communities, the town of Broadview, the arm of El Capo in the provincial government, and the recommendation that came back from that committee was unanimous, that this highway actually take on that name, be named in honor of Chief Kakavishtaha, and we're happy to do that. And
the MLA says Saskatchewan is really quite impressive when it comes to road signs honoring Indigenous individuals.
And that serves as a constant reminder that we're all treaty people. It serves as a reminder of the relationship, the treaty relationship that Saskatchewan is built on.
Driving home the importance of reconciliation. Regina, CTV News, Kakavishtaha First Nation.
A celebration today for a new elementary school in La Loche. Government officials, including the Premier, were on hand this afternoon to mark the grand opening of the school. The school was completed in the spring and welcomed its first students earlier this month. It's located near the Dene High School, accommodating about 475 students from pre-kindergarten to grade 6. The school features 26 classrooms and offers support services, which includes a classroom to help students with self-regulation and to help teachers manage complex classrooms. The province provided almost $45 million for the new school. A dream come true almost turned into a nightmare for a local Bryan Adams fan. The sister of a Regina woman was trying to get VIP tickets to his concert this weekend, but her wheelchair was considered a safety risk in the case of a fire. Damien Smith on the frustration that has ended with excitement from the superfan.
Jody McEachern is a longtime fan of Bryan Adams, and she was hoping to meet her favorite artist for the third time at his concert in Regina this weekend. What started as a birthday gift from her sister back in May turned into a 5-month ordeal with the Brant Center and Ticketmaster.
And she's being denied the opportunity of interacting with him firsthand because the Brant Center can't accommodate her special needs.
The issue was that there was no VIP package available for those in a wheelchair. Krupe was told by ticket administrators that having a wheelchair in the VIP section for this concert would be against fire regulations.
I think this is the first time that they've come across this particular situation.
In a statement to CTV News, the Real District says that the Brant Centre is committed to providing a safe, welcoming, and inclusive environment for all guests and is working with the customer to address their concerns directly and privately. Adding, the older facility faces challenges in meeting today's accessibility standards and expectations. On Thursday afternoon, Krupe was offered complimentary tickets for her sister on the concourse level, but now Krupe says that the Brant Centre has been in contact with the tour manager and they are now offering her sister the full VIP experience.
The Real Centre, after the manager got involved, it really stepped up to the plate to remedy things and is really going to try to make this a very, very enjoyable experience for my sister.
A gift straight from the heart of her favorite musician. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, the latest on Mark Carney's trip abroad to boost trade ties. And we have more on the labor dispute at Canada Post. Will Canadians be caught in the middle? You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Back to the Canada Post dispute. The union saying the post office is under attack after Ottawa announced changes to the way the corporation should conduct business. CTV's Rachel Aiello joins us with the latest from a national perspective.
Thousands of postal workers are on strike. The trigger for the shutdown? Sweeping changes the federal government is forcing, including ending door-to-door delivery in an effort to save a struggling Canada Post.
We're striking to keep good service and to keep good jobs. We will be here until we win.
But as long as this labor disruption lasts, no new mail will be processed or delivered, with few exceptions. Meaning Canadians need to brace for delays. There's no sign Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu is ready to step in yet, saying today federal mediators remain available to support the bargaining process, and she is encouraging both parties to continue working towards a fair resolution. Yesterday, Ottawa announced it was ordering Canada Post to transition millions of addresses to community mailboxes, shutter some rural post offices, and extend delivery times for letter mail. Canada Post was getting ready to roll out these reforms, but says it's now preparing a new contract offer, while warning the strike will only worsen the Crown Corporation's dire financial situation.
We got to make the service more affordable because Canadians value it, but it's just becoming too expensive to them as taxpayers.
When these workers went on strike last year, it cost small businesses more than $1 billion, and they're now fearful of the impact that this labor disruption could have. Many of them are already treading water due to the trade war, and we're banking on the holiday shipping season to stay afloat. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in the UK for a summit to boost trade and economic ties, but his meeting with Canada's oldest ally sparked a friendly rivalry over one of Britain's oldest sports. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports from London tonight.
A fourth official face-to-face with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer for Mark Carney kicked off a visit to London.
Well, it's going to be a great match. Yep. And we're going to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Despite a friendly rivalry ahead of a big women's rugby match Saturday, the two leaders set their sights on shared defence priorities.
We've got Ukraine to discuss. We've got the Middle East to discuss. And thank you for the way we've been able to work together on both those issues. Great pleasure to be together again.
The Prime Minister also met with the leaders of Iceland, Spain, and Australia.
We are partners in commerce. We're partners in culture.
We actually have pretty similar economies.
Talks that all centered around building trade and economic partnerships, an area British Ambassador Ralph Goodell says Canada and the UK can still build on.
We've got $50 billion worth of trade flowing back and forth, and it is 99% tariff and quota-free.
Canada is looking to diversify its international partnerships in the face of Donald Trump's trade war. The U.S. president leveraged new tariffs Thursday on a wide range of imported goods, including heavy-duty trucks and pharmaceuticals. Still, Carney today shied away from directly taking aim at the U.S. president.
You face special circumstances in Canada, given your neighbor to the south, and let me just apologize.
Instead, he shared with a progressive crowd at this summit how he won the April election.
So it's not engaging on the turf of the more negative agenda, but focusing on the positive.
All of it capped off with a dinner at 10 Downing Street, FaceTime with like-minded world leaders, the real focus of this trip, according to senior government officials.
The Prime Minister will meet tomorrow with business leaders and investors before taking his Canadian pride to a London rugby pitch. Carney is set to attend the Women's Rugby World Cup to cheer on Canada against England in the final. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, London.
Israel's prime minister addressed the United Nations General Assembly this morning. Benjamin Netanyahu called the recent recognition of a Palestinian state by Canada and some other countries a disgraceful decision.
Your disgraceful decision will encourage terrorism against Jews and against innocent people everywhere. It will be a mark of shame on all of you.
Netanyahu said recognizing a Palestinian state will encourage terrorism against Jewish people. He also spoke about the hostages taken by Hamas nearly 2 years ago and threats from Iran. Dozens of diplomats from various countries walked out during the speech. Canada's ambassador remained seated. A former director of the FBI says he is innocent after being indicted on 2 criminal charges. The U.S. Justice Department charged James Comey yesterday with giving a false statement and obstruction of justice. He is accused of lying to Congress. He was involved in the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. U.S. President Donald Trump has for years called that investigation a hoax and a witch hunt. The U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, says he's offended by the idea that Donald Trump is uninformed when it comes to what Canada has to offer. Hoekstra's comments were made during a heated exchange on stage at the Global Business Forum in Banff. Colin Robertson, a former diplomat and a fellow with the Canadian Global Affairs Institute, said Trump didn't seem well informed because of previous comments he made, stating Canada doesn't have anything that the U.S. needs, when in fact there are several items that are in high demand by the U.S., like petroleum products, motor vehicles, and electricity. A London judge has thrown out a terror-related charge against a member of the Irish hip-hop group Kneecap. The artist known as Mo Chara was charged for waving a Hezbollah flag during a London show last year. The judge said the case should be thrown out due to a technical error in the way the charge was brought and that the proceedings were instituted unlawfully. Kneecap has faced criticism for statements seeming to glorify militant groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. The band was recently forced to cancel its shows in Canada after an MP said they wouldn't be allowed into the country.
How you all doing out there? It's Michael Charles, and it's my pleasure in saying that I'll be back at Buds on Broadway October 1 and 2. Always a pleasure to be back at Buds. Let's get back and check out what the weather's like in Saskatoon. Jeff, I'll pass it on to you.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. And we'll talk about the first night of your 2-night stand at Buds on Broadway. The weather is looking pretty decent, quite frankly, for the beginning of October. 24 degrees, mainly cloudy skies, way above seasonal temperatures. And that show starts at 9 o'clock. Same for Thursday night. Once again, you can go to Buds on Broadway website for more information. Now, currently in Saskatoon, it is 17 degrees, 14 in Prince Albert, and 16 in the Battlefors. But boy, not so windy in Prince Albert, but that's not the case in Saskatoon, where winds out of the west at 37 clicks, and slightly windier in the Battleford. So some windy conditions still exist in our province. We'll talk about what the wind will be like tomorrow later on.
Coming up, a Canadian team on a quest to make history. A look at a potential rugby record and the Canadian team hoping to go all out.
Look at the impact of tariffs locally. Monday on Your Morning, why the Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce says business optimism is easing.
All right, let's take a look at the live lens of Skycam, and we've got ourselves. This looks like we're putting up the same picture day after day after day. I know, but yes, big blue sky, a little bit of cloud on the horizon. All in all, another pleasant day, but it has been windy. Yes, indeed. Some very strong winds across many parts of the province, including Saskatoon. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. Just to recap, this low pressure area that brought the rain to Saskatchewan earlier today, zooming out through Manitoba into Ontario. They could have some thunderstorm activity along the Manitoba-Ontario border. We'll have to wait and see. Lots of rain expected to show up in parts of British Columbia, and things are actually starting to dry out in the Atlantic region and across Ontario and Quebec. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Temperature is 17 degrees in Saskatoon, 14 in Prince Albert, and 16 in the Battleford. Still pretty windy in Saskatoon and the Battlefords. The hotspot, or the almanac, yes, I missed it earlier on. 18 for Saskatoon, 16 is typical, 32 the record from 1922. The sun came up at 1 minute before 7, and the sun's going to go down just before 7. Okay, so almost the samesies there. Estevan, 20 degrees. Hudson Bay 1, those are hot and cold spots in the province today. 15 degrees in Lloydminster right now. It's 16 in Swift Current, 18 in Moose Jaw, 17 in Regina, and Estevan 15 as well in Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 13 degrees in Waskesiu and Hudson Bay up to 17 in a number of locations, so generally low to high teens there. Up north, single-digit temperatures in Collins Bay and South End, and in Sandy Bay, Island Falls, where it's 9 degrees, 10 in Key Lake, 15 in Buffalo Narrows, 12 in La Ronge and Stony Rapids. And down south, no breakout temperatures here, but a fairly tight grouping of temperatures. It looks like the temperature range is just 3 degrees from 15 in Melville up to 18 in a number of other locations. On to our future cast. Well, there's that system moving through northern Manitoba into Hudson Bay and area. A little bit of trailing rain, part of that secondary system coming through, and we're going to see that in northern areas of the province in the next 12 hours or so. Mix of sky conditions for northern Saskatchewan, 12 degrees for Stony Rapids, 14 for Key Lake, 17 in Buffalo Narrows, and 18 in La Ronge. Stony Rapids and Key Lake could see some shower activity. Mainly cloudy skies in Meadow Lake, Spirit Wood, and Kindersley. Mainly sunny skies in Rosetown. Temperatures in the high teens, low 20s. Temperatures are in and around that 24-degree mark or thereabouts for southwestern Saskatchewan under mainly sunny skies. Mainly sunny as well in the southeast, with temperatures hanging around that 24-degree mark or so. And slightly cooler by a degree or so in east central Saskatchewan. Mainly sunny skies in Watrous, Humboldt, and Hudson Bay. Mainly cloudy conditions on Saturday in Melfort. For the Battlefords, overnight dropping down to 2 degrees, so there is a risk of frost, so please be careful with that. Yeah, you and your flowers and vegetables. 20 degrees tomorrow, the daytime high, so above seasonal. Again, 19 on Sunday with mainly sunny skies, 23 on Monday. And for the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, mainly cloudy and 24 degrees. For Prince Albert, 2 degrees overnight, a risk of frost, 21 degrees on Saturday. On Sunday, we're dealing with 20 degrees, 22 to start the work week, 24 on Tuesday, and then starting to drop off temperature-wise, but 1 week from today, still above seasonal. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature, 3 degrees. The wind's backing off. A risk of frost is there. 22 degrees on Saturday with a high, wind of 10 kilometers an hour out of the north. 21 on Sunday, 24 on Monday, and for the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation on Tuesday, 26 degrees. The search is over for the next generation of Air Bud pups. Meet Charlie and Summer. They beat out thousands of other golden retrievers in a nationwide search to be cast in the role of the basketball-playing pooch. Air Bud Entertainment says the two Goldens best embody the athleticism, charm, and heart of Buddy, adding they carried, quote, the magic that made the original so unforgettable. Air Bud Returns is set for summer release 2026. Rick Moranis is ending his longtime break from live-action acting for a role in Spaceballs 2. That's the sci-fi parody sequel to the 1987 film, directed and co-written by the legendary Mel Brooks, who just turned 99. Moranis will return to his role as the Lord Darkhelmet. Moranis took an extended break from acting after the 1991 death of his wife from cancer and has worked sparingly since then. Although he's done some voice character work over the years, he hasn't been in a film since Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves came out in 1997. In addition to Moranis and Brooks, others in the cast of Spaceballs 2 include Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, and Josh Gad. Is scheduled to debut in theaters in 2027. Mounties on Vancouver Island are investigating after multiple people were reportedly defrauded with a fake entry wristband to a recent Nickelback concert. RCMP say the man falsely presented himself as an event official on August 9th at a concert in Lake Cowichan. While the lone suspect has since been identified and detained, RCMP are now looking to speak with potential victims who may have been defrauded by the wristbands. Anyone with additional information is asked to contact Lake Cowichan RCMP.
All right, Jeff, there's a special gala coming up, and you were out finding out about it.
That's right, and ticket deadline is coming up fast. It's always great to be in the company of Alice Kuipers, not only a wonderful author, but also a community leader. And you're involved with a special dinner that's coming up on October 4th right here at TCU Place, and it involves Sanctum Care Group. Can you tell me a little bit about the dinner, first of all?
That's right. So during the dinner, 20 participants who have taken the Sanctum Challenge are going to be talking about their experience of that. The dinner is here at TCU Place, and it will be a wonderful opportunity for us to listen, shed light, and think about how each of us can make a difference in our community.
And for people who don't know what Sanctum Care Group does, can you give us a brief description?
Yeah, Sanctum Care Group is actively working to support those who are homeless, unhoused in our community, to give them a place to live, to give them opportunity and hope through a range of extraordinary programs. Take a look at their website and learn more about what they do.
And in terms of getting those tickets, the ticket deadline, I believe, is September 27th. In other words, tomorrow. How do people get their tickets?
Head over to the Sanctum Care Group website, look up Sanctum Care Group on social media, have a look at the link here that you can see below on the screen. But really what's important, even if you can't make the dinner, do support. Take a look at the challenge, see what's happening, see how you can get involved, support one of the participants who are doing the challenge, walking along our streets, taking a look at our city in a different way. And if you can come to the dinner, come say hi and let me know what you've learned and how you're going to participate in the future.
All right, that sounds terrific. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, time for Pick of the Day Friday edition.
The Friday edition, and just 3 pictures today. I didn't go crazy, so let's, well, that's debatable, I suppose. Hey, this one comes to us from Maureen. And good morning, Jeff. Here's my picture from the crack of dawn from Thode, looking over Blackstrap Lake, taken on the fall equinox. I think some pelicans are flying over the water. I think you're right. So that's a lovely shot, Maureen. Thanks for sharing. And now this one comes to us from Riley. Hey, I took this picture during the Aidan Bowman and Walter Murray game at SMF Field, and this picture was taken last week, but I wanted to share it. You got some football, you got a beautiful sky. Thank you, Riley. And finally, from Ron, well, there's Dancing with the Stars, there's Swimming with the Dolphins, and there is golfing with the elk at Waskesiu Golf Course. And yes, we let this big bad boy play through. LOL. All right, Ron, thanks for the description. And yes, that's probably a good strategy. Don't want that big boy to get angry. If you've got a picture to share with us, sure, you can send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, going for a rugby record, the matchup that has all eyes on a team from Canada.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Some are calling it a David versus Goliath matchup, with a record crowd expected to turn out tomorrow to watch Canada to take on England in the World Cup final for women's rugby. England are the heavy favorites, but the Canadians believe they can make history. With more on that, here is CTV's John Venavali Rao.
For fans of women's rugby, tomorrow's match is one of the most anticipated in years.
Canada are exceptionally good. It's going to be a really good match.
So it's difficult to say which way it's going to go. Obviously, we wish that it goes our way.
This, the moment a week ago when the Canadian women advanced to the final, besting the defending champs, New Zealand, and now set to play England's Red Roses.
This is what we've been building for 3 years to do, and the fact that we're in this week and this is the game that we're in is just unbelievable, and it's just kind of a surreal feeling.
For the Canadians, this is only their second trip ever to the World Cup finals, and Saturday's contest will be tough. The Red Roses is made up of mostly pros with a budget 10 times bigger than that of the Canadians, and they've won a staggering 32 games in a row.
They have an aura about them. Our goal is to burst it, basically.
The Canadian team are themselves unbeaten this year and will play Saturday's game in Twickenham, England, at the stadium in front of a sellout crowd of 82,000, the largest ever for a women's rugby game.
This is a jam-packed stadium and the biggest stadium in England. I think it's very exciting for women's rugby in general.
They're going to kick some ass on Saturday.
Rob Baker, the Tragically Hip, praising the team, with the band selling special jerseys to support them. On social media, fan Shania Twain was asked if the team's last win impressed her much. She wrote back, "Oh, you know it did."
The sign Red Roses.
And Prime Minister Carney meeting with his UK counterpart today, exchanging jerseys. For those who play the game, all of the attention's been great.
I think that we're changing the way people see Canadian rugby on the global scale.
And if the team can take the trophy, it'll truly be a moment for the nation to treasure. John Benavali-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
When we come back, the riders get ready to battle Edmonton, and a daring drop for one skateboarder going to new heights.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at the rural forecast. Before we check these numbers, just a reminder, I forgot to mention this earlier on. If you are, it's the last barbecue of the season for We All Need a Dog Rescue at Cabela's tomorrow between 11 and 3. Stop by, check out the dogs, and it's adoption day, as well as maybe have a burger. All right. I've got that taken care of now. 18 degrees tomorrow for Meadow Lake, 19 for Spiritwood, 22 for Kindersley, 23 for Outlook. So the temperatures are on the warm side of seasonal again, and it doesn't look as though it's going to be particularly windy tomorrow. 22 in Wynyard and Hudson Bay. Making our way down south, temperatures bump up a little bit. Pretty pleasant temperatures there. Maple Creek at 26 degrees, the same for Coronach, 24 in East End and Rockglen and Carlisle, and 23 degrees in Broadview and Kenora, and in fact, a few other places. So pretty much across the Southland, temperatures in the low to mid 20s, so a pretty pleasant situation. And does that include Radville? And the answer is yes. Sunny skies in Radville, 25 degrees, and the winds a little breezy in the afternoon. Wind gusts up to 40 kilometers an hour, but all in all, a pretty pleasant Saturday shaping up in Radville. And Radville is one of the many communities where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The Riders have released their depth chart for tomorrow's game in Edmonton, and receiver Samuel Emilis is in it. Emilis will be playing his first game since getting injured against Edmonton last month. He has 361 yards in 4 games. Receiver Sean Bain Jr. will also make his season debut as a backup receiver and likely in the return game with Mario Alford out of the lineup. Bain Jr. last suited up almost a year ago after a serious knee injury has kept him out.
We see it on tape. They're just, I think, just more confident, and I think just reps. You know, with Cody being in there, I think his first go around was against us. So just like anything, right? They've had more time and more timing, and just flow of the game for them. So certainly we expect a much better team, you know, than we played the first time, and we feel that we're better as well. So we're expecting a tough battle.
Game time is 5 o'clock, and you can watch it on TSN. There is a major recall underway affecting Canadian Hyundai owners. 44,000 SUVs are being called back to check out a possible issue with the seatbelts. It affects the Hyundai Palisades models for the years 2020 to 2025. Some seatbelts in the driver's, front passenger, and second row seats may not latch properly. Hyundai will be directly contacting those owners and advising them to go to a dealership to get things checked out. More tariffs announced by Washington this week. Marella Fernandez has more on that.
Washington's imposing another round of tariffs, this time on pharmaceuticals and furniture. The U.S. president shared the news online, saying imported drugs would face a 100% duty starting October 1st. There will also be a 50% markup on imported cabinets and a 30% markup for upholstered furniture. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar hasn't changed much. It's at 71.75. West Texas Intermediate is up to 65.32. Western Canadian Select barely moved. It's at 53.15, and the TSX is up 29 points today to 29,761. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon currently $1.34 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.24.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $1.1922, and Nutrien was up. Coming up, a competition of skill and accuracy. Then a record drop and fastest speed.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight here on CTV at 7 o'clock. Well, groups from across the province gathered at the University of Regina today to compete in an annual competition. Teams of 4 competed in categories that included high school, all-women campus, and community. The goal was to set up a teepee the quickest and most accurately in the 20-minute time frame. This event started in 2008 and takes place every September. Cash prizes were given for first, second, and third place in each category. I wonder if they get to practice.
Gosh, I'd hope so, because that's a tricky job.
That would be hard. In the wind, too.
You bet.
Yeah. All right, well, in Brazil, a skateboarder has set 2 new Guinness World Records in spectacular fashion. Take a look at this. Sandro Diaz broke the records for the tallest drop in and fastest speed on a skateboard on a temporary quarter pipe. Yeah. He conquered a 22-story building, hitting a speed of more than 103 kilometers per hour. He skated from a height of 70 meters with a drop of 60 meters along a building known by locals as the ultimate skate ramp.
Wow. Does he just run it just to slow down because of inertia, or is there a
there's
like
a
bag that he falls into or something?
The end that we were watching another
Yikes.
Video later, and yeah, it didn't look pleasant. But
no, not at all.
Yeah. So your forecast is pleasant, though.
The forecast is pleasant. We'll take a quick look at what we have shaping up for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 10 degrees, and we make our way into the afternoon up to 21, so not too bad at all. So a pretty pleasant Saturday shaping up, and as you can see, the winds are not particularly strong tomorrow, so we get a break from that wind that we had today.
Lots going on this weekend, too. So.
Lots going on this weekend. Tomorrow we have the No Foot Too Small Memorial and Awareness Walk going on at Kinsman Park. It's put on by Empty Arms, and that's happening, I think it starts at 11 in the morning at Kinsman Park, the 25th Street entrance there. And then on Sunday, be there. Battle of the Badges, the firefighters taking on the police service at Merlis Belcher Place. I believe that starts at 1 o'clock. Sound about right?
1 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
And earlier today, we were talking about Orange Shirt Day earlier in the show. Music, dancing, arts, crafts, all part of the day to recognize and acknowledge the survivors of residential schools who didn't come home and their families. We had Daniel Shingoose there for us, and he captured some of the highlights for us, and we're going to leave you with that tonight. Have a safe and happy weekend.
Take care.